Hi, my name is Justin Lugo, and these are my pretty Lugo things. Hello, and welcome back to week 2 of my 2025 art challenge. If you're new here, I originally had a plan to complete at least one project per week for the entire year, but as you may know, we're currently halfway through February. It's literally February 14th right now, and I'm barely on week 2, so maybe I'll catch up, maybe I'll switch to monthly instead of weekly, who knows. So anyway, in the spirit of completing half-finished projects, I wanted to finish this tufted mirror and use this stained glass design for something tangible. I designed this stained glass art with the intent to make something for my godmother, and I really only had one thing holding me back: the size. I originally had a plan to make her a tufted wall hanging just because I was in a rug making mood, but despite the pretty simple design, tufting can get harder at smaller scales and carving even more so. I ended up putting the entire project on hold until I could think of a better medium, and it wasn't until I was reorganizing my craft supplies that I found it. So I'd used stained glass paint before to make these face covers for a hairdresser friend of mine, and I had a spare round mirror for when I was first brainstorming the crescent moon mirrors. So I decided to combine the two. Making the face covers was actually kind of relaxing, and I was looking forward to working with the paint again. However, I unfortunately had no clue what lay ahead of me. To start, the Cricut cutting software kept creating imaginary loops that weren't in my original file, so I had to go in and manually tweak the errors. Luckily, it was a quick and easy fix. Just pop this little rectangle in place and we're good to go. Once I got that done, I prepped my mat and sent the file to the machine to begin the cut. 20 or so minutes later, I pulled my first stencil attempt out and began weeding. Once that was done, I put my mat away and got to work on finishing the back of the mirror. I had to pull out this cotton apron as an emergency safeguard so that the felt backing wouldn't melt against the iron. Once everything was nice and smooth, I cut the backing fabric to size and just used plain old tacky glue to adhere the fabric to the mirror. I then used E6000 to glue the D-ring in place, cut a slit in the fabric for the ring to feed through, similar to all my hanging tufted pieces, and finished it off by trimming the excess. Finally, just a quick clean and wipe down, and we're ready to start. Here I am, applying the transfer paper to the stencil, very carefully using my brayer to make sure everything sticks, and this is where I made my first mistake. I thought I could just eyeball the positioning by standing over it and trying to line it up, but I got a bit too close and this happened. There was no saving the stencil, and I didn't trust myself to paint straight and even shapes, so I tried again. We cut, we weed, and we attempt to transfer. This was like mistake 1.5 because it was thankfully just the transfer paper that was ruined, so we cut a new piece and tried again. I tried reverse weeding this time, where once the transfer tape has been applied, you pull off the carrier sheet from the original vinyl and work on the sticky side. This is usually used with detail work because it helps keep all free-floating shapes exactly where they belong. I set the stencil aside, and in case you couldn't tell, I'm preemptively mad at it, which should have been a sign to walk away and chill out, but my impatience knows no bounds, and that's how you end up with mistake number 2. While attempting to eyeball it, again, my hand slipped, and after ripping it off and cleaning it up for round 3, a tantrum may or may not have ensued. Which is why I decided to cut and weed the third try of my stencil off camera. At this point, I finally had the foresight to leave the backing on and only remove bits at a time for proper transfer and alignment. I did have a little bit of trouble with the stencil, and some pieces weren't detaching from the transfer tape, but in the end, I finally got it. And here I am, praying to the art gods for finally smiling down on me. Finally, we get to move on to the fun part. The fun part is painting because I basically just get to trace and color, so I got to play podcasts and watch YouTube videos while I worked. I did learn that whatever dried in the tip of the nozzle needs to just be thrown away, otherwise it looks bad, but this was very therapeutic. I don't have any pictures of it completed. I just have a few progress pics from when it was still drying because I thought the paint patterns looked really cool. Plus this concept one where I considered adding ribbon around the edges, but I ultimately decided against that. So this is more just for my own record, but I also have this very shaky footage my very tiny mom took of my sister and I delivering the mirror to her in person. Our godmothers are only sisters just like us, and this is the first time the four of us have been together since I was a kid, so being able to give my Nina something to commemorate the day was really nice. Moving on to the crescent moon, this is the project that I was procrastinating for fear of messing up, and here's why. This is actually my first try at my crescent moon mirror that a friend of mine picked up at an art market I did, and I'm so lucky she did because she loves it and I wanted it out of my house. So in an effort to not repeat my mistakes, I decided to plan ahead a little bit. Here she is in her sketched out glory. This time I made sure to have a physical sketch to carve into instead of just eyeballing it, which is why I was not a fan of my previous one, but I'm lucky somebody loved her. I started a time lapse thinking that this would take about 2 hours to finish, but I think I got it done in under 40 minutes. Waiting for the glue on the back to set took the longest out of all the steps, but with these mini binder clips, it came out so clean. So here she is in all her completed glory, and this is where I inform you that this mirror sold before I even got a chance to carve it, and was paid for before this video was even shot. I posted it on my Instagram story, and an old friend from high school reached out and requested that she be let known when it's made available because she was interested. So here I am, prepping the mirror for shipping. The Postal Service and the Forest Service are the only government entities I currently respect. So here I am doing a shake test to make sure that everything is packed up nice and safe. I also hand wrote a thank you card which includes a discount code for my Etsy shop, which I will share with you here on the screen and in the description. I wrapped the box in brown paper because I'm shipping ground, not priority, and securing the paper with packing tape in case the paper starts to tear. In case the paper starts to tear, it doesn't fully rip off the box. Learn that tip from a postal worker. Alright, so that was week 2 of my 2025 art challenge. Sorry these take so long to get out. Editing really kicks my ass, but I need to do everything myself to make sure that I like it and it's done right. It's not, but at least it's getting done. I'm thinking next week I'll do a bunch of little projects to hopefully catch up or at least get me somewhere closer to back on track. I'm thinking maybe stickers or postcards. I actually posted a poll on my story and I had people vote on what my next craft should be, and rock painting seems to have won, so I might do that. And then it was an idea I have for keychains. But yeah, so if you made it to the end of this video, I just want to say thank you so much. I just want you to know that I am so thankful. Even if I was just background noise on an autoplay playlist, thank you for not clicking away. Please hit all the buttons under the video, like, comment, subscribe, maybe go crazy, hit the share button. I don't know, I'm not your dad. With that, thanks again. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.